one, I just love Deadpool. I love hearing that song in the newest movie. Two, I was bored, so I had that put on the button for when people announced me on guest appearances. So I wanted to play here. How do I? Woof, Joe's going deep. So this one, this is a deep question, Kurt.
Yep.
Since we've taken over all the other categories, Joe picked this. How do I? But I think you have a pretty good answer here. How do I pick a life partner, wife, husband, whatever, somebody to share my life with?
Yeah. So the way that I did it is I met her in high school and then took her away from some other dude.
Okay, which can be somewhat of a common story at that age. However, that's the same lady that's two rooms down right now.
Right. Yeah. And to be fair, I was also in high school. I just want to be clear on that.
Oh, man, I missed that joke. I totally missed that joke.
No, you know what? I mean, the serious answer, I guess, because I don't know. I've been dating my wife since I was 15, right? So I think that the serious answer is it's going to sound very cliche and very Hallmark-ish, but be friends with them first.
Okay.
Just there might be attraction there to begin with, and hopefully there is, but just open up to being just friends.
And why were you friends with her?
Why was it? Because we had common interests. I
want like a real story from you. What brought y'all together originally as friends?
So we met going to a summer music camp together, and not together.
Time at band camp.
Yeah, it was band camp. And so here in New Hampshire, they had a summer music school that they would run at one of the local universities, and you would go and you'd stay on campus in the dorm for 2 weeks as a high school student in the summer, and all you would do is study music for 2 weeks, and then with concerts throughout the 2 weeks. And so she played clarinet in the band. I played saxophone and I sang, and we had a mutual friend. And
I don't think we knew you play saxophone, did we, Joe?
Nope.
Oh,
right, yeah. We learned something new tonight.
Yeah, I played saxophone in high school.
And that gorilla that goes
no, but I will tell you that I did memorize at one point the sax solo from "I Want a New Drug" by Huey Lewis.
Yes, I love Huey Lewis. Had all the albums.
Yep. So so we had a mutual friend, and we just started hanging out, and one thing led to another, and really, I met her.
Amount of time? Like, where did?
Oh, okay, yeah. So I was just getting to that.
Okay,
so
sorry,
yeah, that's okay. It's cool. We met in August because that's when the school was, and we didn't really start dating until that December. So September, October, November, December, like four months later. But we stayed in contact with each other, and I went to her 16th birthday party, which was awkward because the other dude was there too.
And not because you were 24.
No. And and this is going to sound particularly mushy, but at this summer music school, we ended up like making out, like you do. And then she had her friend pass me a note that said, basically, oh, this is so cringy, but there's a purpose. So the note said, if you love something, set it free. If it comes back to you, it's yours. If it doesn't, it never was. Now, that's just a quote from someone. I don't even know who wrote it originally, but it's a quote. So
Spock.
I have that note in my wallet. Still.
That I can believe. Yeah. Okay.
And that was 41 years ago. That happened. So she became my best friend. She became the love of my life. And it started kind of slow. We didn't get married until 6 years after we started dating. We didn't get engaged until 3 or 4 years after starting dating. Again, we were in high school when we started dating, so
yeah, but what, juniors-ish, at least 16?
Yeah. Between sophomore and junior years when we met. So yeah.
So then, like sophomore-ish year of college, you get engaged.
I popped the question. Yep. And everybody that we called said it's about time.
No crap. So
except for her mom.
I thought you were going to say her ex-boyfriend.
No, her mom.
That you stole him from.
No. In fact, no. What was funny is the ex-boyfriend ended up breaking up with her like a month later and started dating somebody I went to high school with. But because we were at different high schools in the same town.
Okay.
Yeah. So her mom said, "Well, you're not going to quit college, are you?" That was her immediate reaction after we announced the engagement.
She said that to you or your wife?
Yeah, well, to my wife. I wasn't going to talk to her on the phone. And it was cool. I did propose in the worst possible way.
I don't know. I might have to run for that.
I mean, okay, wait. We played an anime game. We played an anime game like guess the title. Right. So, Joe, what is Kurt's worst possible way to propose?
Let's see. He tied the engagement ring to a parakeet, and it came over and said, "Poop or get off the pot." And then he was like, "Yeah, baby."
That's okay. That is pretty bad. That's a pretty bad.
That would be an awesome way compared to what I did.
All right. Okay. All right. No. Here's mine. They're in college, right? She's probably tutoring him in a bunch of stuff because let's be honest, we all marry up. And so she was like, "Look, I got to pay the rent. I got to tutor other guys." And he goes, "Whatever," and threw a ring to her just to make sure that he had her when she's tutoring other people.
Ooh, no.
See, I got worse. I got worse than what you did.
You did get worse. You did get worse.
Can other guys teach you how to put a ring on this finger?
Yeah.
So I believe mine was still yet worse.
Oh, wow.
All right. Well, we shall be this. This is not quite Council of Dads. We'll make it that a little bit. Okay. We'll judge you. All right, hit us.
Cool. So I show up in the middle of the week to her dorm room.
Okay.
And we're sitting there talking, and I go, and this is kind of the look on my face. So I'll even for if you want to watch us live, you can see what I'm doing. And I go, I came up because I really needed to talk to you, and unfortunately,
you played the breakup speech. You played the breakup speech.
Yeah, I said, I really don't think that I can keep going this way in this relationship. And I laid it on thick. Like she was on the edge of tears. Yeah. All of it. And I said, so, and I'm sorry, just something's got to change. I can't keep going the way we're going. And then I said, so will you marry me? And I pulled out the ring. It was an even shot. It was an even shot, and I think she hit me, and then she said yes. But looking back on it, I would not have done it that way again. I felt so bad because if I commit to the bit,
I know that's our fault, right? That's the thing.
Yeah.
It sounds like that's not just me and you, sir.
No.
Joe.
At least she wasn't happy thinking she was getting broken up with.
Right.
Oh my God.
It turned out so bad.
I was going to call you. I've been seeing somebody. Ah!
You remember my ex from high school?
Oh.
Now, in that moment, That is where you can truly believe with all of your heart 2 things at once. 1, without a doubt, she's going to say yes. And 2, without a doubt, she's going to say no. And you believe those things 100%, not 50-50 to make 100,
Right.
100% each in your heart until the reality hits and we're in the right timeline.
Yep.
But Joe, this fake account that you have set up just to give us more viewers says, did you fake propose with a piece of gum or a car key before the real proposal, like scratching the side of the car with a key? I don't know. Because that might have happened to somebody I know. That's an oddly, doubly specific reference. But before that, how do you pick out? Maybe we should ask your partner. Well, no, she
picked
story.
me. Yeah, she actually asked me out for our first date. Her roommates decided they were going to do a group date, so everyone had to ask somebody. And out of that group date, 2 of let's see, how many different couples were on that date? Was it 4 or 5? But 2 of those the people on that date, 2 of the couples on that date ended up getting married. And so, yeah, so she asked me out on our first date. It went rather well. We started hanging out a lot after that but it was towards the end of the semester, and I knew that she was going to be going home for the following semester, because the way that our college worked is it actually had a 3-semester program. So in the year you could actually get in 3 semesters if you stayed year long, though they called it a track system. So basically you were assigned 2 semesters and then you were off a semester, and then you would come back and do 2 semesters and be off a semester. So that way they could fit in more students in a given year. And so we had we had the same track system, but I was still going to be in Rexburg in Idaho, where our college was, because, well, I didn't have anywhere to go home to, because at that time my mom was in a care facility with terminal cancer. So I didn't have anywhere to go home, so I knew I was going to be staying there. Anyway, regardless.
So you played the homeless terminal cancer card to get a place to stay with your future wife?
No.
Pretty low, Joe.
You do know good relationships are built on trust and truth to start with. You're playing the American Idol. My mom's died. I got nowhere to go home. Can you please marry me?
You would stoop so low. I can't believe you would stoop so low. I am so disappointed in you, Joe.
So
oh my God.
I knew she was going to be gone, but I did feel like it could be this relationship could become a marriage. And so what I did, and my wife kind of hated me for it at the time. I took that semester while she was gone, because we hadn't defined the relationship. We weren't officially a couple. We had gone out a couple of times, but we hadn't actually had the talk of establishing what we were. And so while she was gone for that semester, I went on a lot of dates, because I hadn't been on very many dates in general. So I went on a lot of dates,
the wise and dirty stories,
to confirm that what I was feeling for her was real. You're shaking your head, you're judging me. And yes, we did have a Valentine's date over the phone where we both hit play on the movie Hitch at the same time.
Hitch?
Why do you need to date 50 first dates when you have just Hitch? Who else is going to watch Hitch over the phone with you, fool? You don't need 50 first dates. I'm so sorry, Coach. I did not know him at the time. I would have raised him better. Hopefully, Joseph R. Jr. that you saw earlier on the show with my hair in his face, we'll do better with him. So
she came back, and we officially became a couple. We dated for, I want to say, only a couple of months before I actually proposed. To be, I'd have to think of the timing, but yeah, we didn't date for that long before I proposed, and we were married that following January. So we had known each other for about 16 months when we got married.
Kurt,
I'm
this
sorry,
dude doesn't get to the freaking gum and the freaking key, I'm gonna murder somebody.
No, I understand. I'm still stuck on Hitch. Like, of all the movies you could watch together.
No, come on, Kurt. At the time, it was a great rom-com. You can't. dude, they're Mennonites or something. They didn't understand. It's okay. They picked a good, clean movie. It's fine.
It would have made more sense if he said Kingpin.
No, not with Joe. He's not really Mennonite. I just made that up. He's Muslim.
well,
I don't remember. Some M word. All right. So, Joe.
I'm a Martian.
We've had a discussion. We've had a discussion. I know. All right. So you're back. So if you don't tell me about this story.
Okay. So I bought the ring. I had the ring. And I knew that I was planning on proposing to her. And basically, it was an unspoken thing that I was going to be proposing to her. And so
you know what people say unspoken? That means one person is not thinking about it, the other person is.
We were both thinking about it. And so I had a ring box. I put a piece of gum in it. I was in my living room. I said, Kelsey, would you like a piece of gum? And I opened it. And she was like, And then the next one with the car key, I basically did the same thing. And it was a car that I had purchased from my aunt to be my wife's car, although my girlfriend at the time. And so there was that, gave her the car. And I think.
Wait. That sounds innocent and kind. It is not put in the story because you're leaving something out. Did you like get down on one knee like, I really, really want you to have this key? Why was the key a fake proposal?
It just I said her full name and I said, will you take this key? Or would you like this piece of gum? And so when I did finally actually propose, her first words were, is this for real? And it was that same attitude.
Question.
And yes, it was. And she said yes. So, but yeah, the original question here was, how do I pick my wife / life partner? And I think it boils down to the person's whose weirdness jams with your weirdness, because everyone's weird in their own way. I think that's a really big part of finding someone who you can spend the rest of your life with, because they talk about, if you can't handle me at my worst, really, if you can't handle me at my weirdest, then we're not meant to be.
Why is you covering your face from my side of the camera, Kurt?
I can't look at Joe right now.
It's flipped on the screen. You're wrong handing it.
Here, I got this. There we go.
Joe. Joe, that's a very Hitch 2 Electric Boogaloo answer, and I appreciate it.
Please tell me there was a scene in Hitch where he did the gum thing.
No, not at all.
See, that would at least make sense. I might make that up because nobody sees that movie.
See, but
we watch it every year on Valentine's Day.
You have to now.
Yeah, well, yeah. Okay, so my first movie with my now wife was Matthew Perry. Oh man, so it was his first feature films after Friends. He dates a Hispanic girl and
can't help falling in the Fools Rush In.
Fools Rush In. Thank you.
All right.
We've watched it like one other time since then.
I think I've seen it once. I'm actually really surprised I knew what the name was.
It was a movie at the time. It was fine. The best
Except
thing, they
didn't have any chemistry in that movie. Their chemistry was horrible.
Hey, no. Oh, I'm sorry. He did not give her gum and ask her to not marry him. So I don't hear it. But
I mean, life often has less chemistry than a movie. You're supposed to have chemistry in a movie.
We didn't pick it because it was romantic. It was an innocent enough movie to get to know each other and do dinner afterwards. The best part of that movie, Kirk, I'm not going to say it's good. I don't remember most of it, but huge Batman guy, especially at the time. And I actually had a habit of going around when I did awesome things going, I'm Batman. And about halfway through that film, he like takes off his coat or whatever. And I can't remember if there was a hat or if there was a coat. He goes right on the coat rack and he stops in a very Matthew Perry song, goes, I'm Batman. And I laughed so hard at that and embarrassed her in a theater of like 5 people because nobody watched that movie.
And when Charles proposed, he said, do you want to marry Batman?
Right.
No, I asked her if she wanted to be a Catwoman, dummy. Come on.
So Food
Meow.
Russian is probably Oscar bait compared to the movie that I first went to with my wife.
Oh, what'd you go see?
We went and saw Eddie and the Cruisers in the theater. Don't bother. It's terrible. And so bad that about 20 minutes in, we didn't see the rest of the movie. Not because we left the
So
theater.
it was a great movie, is what you're
because
saying.
we were in high school.
Yeah, fair enough. So what you said is a very kind and fun way to say it. But basically, it is the person who sees the world the way you see it. And all the different ways,
Yeah.
right? The weird matching weird is, I hear you, man. That resonates. And that definitely, I something clicked when I saw my wife, and I won't go into all that because that's a long story. But what really set the tone, now y'all have met me. Obviously, when I was 22 years old, when I met her, she was 17. We're 5 years apart. So 21, whatever that. We're right, like almost exactly 5 years apart. But I met her at the hospital. She had a job. And I decided, after seeing her a couple of times at the hospital, that I was going to ask her out. Now, Kurt, you mentioned the note. Unbeknownst to me, now my partner, what's a nice way to put somebody who is like a hound dog and hunts everything down that's not animals?
Quagmire.
Okay.
Giggity, giggity.
He was almost that level. He was almost that level of character there. And now, keep in mind, I admit, I said I'm 22. We found out she was 17, didn't know that at the time, but right in my age range, she's out of school, she's got a job. It's fine. He was like 30 something. And he was interested in her too until he found out that she was 17. I think he was still interested.
No,
but
so he wasn't a real Quagmire.
people at the hospital basically told him, well, I don't know, but as the story goes, there's a small
He was
hospital.
like, give it a year and then I'll.
No. It was a small hospital, and her mom worked there, and all the nurses worked with her mom, and they basically told him, if you so much as even say hi to her, we will kill you. I think he he wouldn't have a shot. He might have taken a shot otherwise, but he thought he'd mess with me and leave a note for her and with my name on it. I had no idea. So there's some note left. Didn't know it. I don't remember what it said. I think she still has it somewhere, to be honest. I come back to a note with my name on it at the hospital. And I don't work for the hospital. I work for the ambulance company. But we brought in a patient like, is there another Charles that works around here? Like, oh, everyone's like, no, that's for you. I'm like, I mean, I'm a dude. I'm like, why the hell would I have a note on a cabinet in the ER? Because I didn't leave the first note. And the note was an answer back. And I'm like, I'm all confused. This note reads like I said something to her. And I didn't say something to her. And so finally my partner's like, well, yeah, I did that for you, man. I was like, what are you doing? I was very unrefined. So I finally get the courage to ask her. I think I got her number that way somehow. He got the number for me, whatever. I called her, chatted with her a little bit, was going to go ask her out. And bright day out, I have these like John Lennon type blue lens glasses. And, you know, as you do when you're a young adult trying to figure out who you are, whatever, you do little things that you can get away with. And the way this little hallway is bright sunlight comes down it. So it's actually a pretty bright hallway. And so I didn't take my glasses off. I walk out, stick my head in the door, nervous as all get out. And I'm like, as I'm leaning into, you know, I'm over dramatic, always have been. And I'm like laying my life on the line to ask this girl out. And she looks up, she's sitting in the chair at the desk. She looks up to me and goes, hey, those are nice glasses. Where'd you get them? Burger King? And in my head, I was like, ah! But outside, I was like, would you like to go out this weekend? She goes, yeah, maybe. I'll ask my dad, see if we're doing something. And I'm like, all right, I'm out. She shot me down with the glasses, and then she had to ask her dad, whatever. Well, it turns out her dad actually had plans that weekend. So she's trying to see if she could ditch him to go out with me. But that's not what it felt like. So that's how it started. And both of you have met my wife, and you've seen how it ended is not the right word. It is still ongoing. But yeah, it comes down to, you could tell even the bad jokes where they laugh and go, no, don't ever tell that in public. I understand you don't mean it, but yeah, you know, you can make them laugh. I'm a certified. That's a good pickup line. Hey, girl, don't worry about your heart skipping a beat. I'm certified to use a defibrillator. I use way worse lines than that. So after I dated her, I started hitting her with all kind of pickup lines after we were dating. But yeah, for me, now we tell the story, and she was not a Star Wars fan. I did not do this because I was a Star Wars fan. But if you're a Star Wars fan, you will understand the reference. But it was just a natural thing for me because I read people. I knew she was falling in love with me. I didn't know. I was damaged. I didn't know where I felt, what I thought. And one night she got up the nerve to say I love you, and I went, I know. And she got on my car and slammed the door, and yeah, it wasn't matter. But I was just brutally honest. I knew that was coming. I did not know how I thought or felt. We set the tone because her life, the family, it's going to sound worse than it is, but they sweep everything under the rug, right? They get mad about something. They talk about you behind your back a little bit, but they'll always be there for you. But nobody ever confronts anything and goes, hey, you did this bad thing. But here I am just blurting out to her, I think this, I think that. All this, and I'm a talker. So first date, we did see Fools Rush In. That's the only scene I remember. That and Toy Story was the preview, like the first one, and it cracked me up. And so I set the tone real. I'm a loud laugher. You guys have both met me, you know how that goes. I'm loud. I'm in people's faces. I don't care. So that helped set that tone. We went to dinner. It was Shoney's. Don't go to a Shoney's. We went there because it was a safe zone for her because her brother worked there. So she knew if after the movie, if things were weird, her brother's there to help her.
If you're actually a psycho.
Oh, things were weird. Right. You were there.
Well, the wrong weird. Okay. Oh, well, you wait, Joe. You wait. I'm about to spike this ball on everybody. So, but we sat out in her car for like 3 hours after dinner and just talked. And that was a really perfect start to everything. Ultimately, I knew when every thought was, I can't wait to share this. I can't wait to tell. And then when you tell her something, even if something she's like, are you kidding me, and getting mad, there was no separation. And so when you talk about when they're weird matches, you're weird, or, Kurt, the be friends with them part, I didn't quite take that, but I did. Me and her both mocked people for a long time. My wife's my best friend. We're like, yeah, no. But we realized after a time, well, who would we rather share anything with, right? Obviously, I have friends. She kind of does. It's a thing that I don't want to get into right now, but she's friendly. You Kurt, you guys talk when you come over, those kind of things. But I'll remind me to tell you a story about Phil and the Patreon part. But I want to get to this part. So ultimately, right? We knew, it wasn't unspoken with us, Joe. We talked about everything. And we talked about the possibility of getting married and what we thought and this and that and other. It was just a matter of time of getting the ring together. And so I thought I had a bad proposal until I heard your guys' proposal. So Kelsey, buckle up, Buttercup. This is how it's done. So knowing my wife is not big on show, but I am big on creating events, I went this way. I thought it was bad at the time. Turns out 23 years later, when I hear your stories, it's not. We're in her backyard, her parents' house, which is across the street now. And it had a hammock at the time. And so we're in the backyard in this hammock, looking at sky, all lovey-dovey romantic. And she was wearing a promise ring, purity ring, whatever the 90s churches called it at the time. And this is just after 2000, but we both were teenagers in the 90s, whatever. So she had one of those promise rings. So her hand was up by her head, which I'm taller, so I could see it. I said, hey, let me see that ring, and act like I'm looking. Took it off her, looking at it, whatever. And I put the diamond ring on, right? And she had no idea I had already paid off. We'd gone, picked them out together. She had no idea I'd already paid it off. And I worked hard to make sure that happened. So we're sitting there, and she just keeps her hand up there, and we're talking. And she puts her hand down by her side. I'm waiting for that TV moment for her to see the ring. And it feels like hours. It's like 30 seconds. Hours go by. And I'm waiting. And if I ask her some dumb question about it, and she looks at it, and time freezes, like she can't comprehend. It's like, wait, that's not my ring. It's probably, and that's where I know, Kurt, you can believe both. There's no way she's going to say no. We've already talked about how many kids we want to have. We've already talked about our next step in life. But there's also that moment of, she's not saying yes. What's going on? And of course, she just starts laughing hysterically. I'm like, well, and she's like, what? I mean, she's just blown away, right? Just pure shock, like you said, Kurt. And it's like, say something. And she's like, yes, of course. Yes, like, oh my God. And then, of course, relief. That's how we got engaged. So suck it, fools. I don't know what to tell you. I did it nicely. But it's all good stuff. Kurt, 41 years, you said?
That's when we started dating. Yeah, we just celebrated 35 years of marriage this year.
I mean, you could argue dating is just as hard as marriage in the way you did it. You went through years. You obviously built the life to an extent together. Joe, how many years?
14.
Rookie move, but all right. 23 going on 24 years for me. And I still introduce her as my first wife from time to time, and that cracks me up.
I have friends who do that. They talk about their spouses and they introduce me to their first. Yeah.
I've got a coworker who divorced and married the same guy like 4 times. So it's her second, third, fourth, and fifth husband. I
would love to talk to somebody who's done that on this show.
She's told a lot of our coworker friends that if she ever considers getting back with him, to slip her the Kool-Aid.
The no card?
No, slip her the Kool-Aid. the Colt Kool-Aid.
The Colt Kool-Aid. The Jim Jones cherry flavored.
Yep.
But with that, everybody, we love you all. Come around next time. We're gonna have some more awesomeness.